What's happening, everybody? How the hell might y'all be making out on this round? Today's guest is drummer Jeff Porter of Detroit's own Child Bite. You know what? Go Lions, by the way. I'm ready for Detroit to get a win. Jeff and I caught up to talk about their previous shows on tour with Pantera and Lamb of God, as well as some upcoming ones and some funny drum snafu situations that transpired during the gig, no less. Tour dates coming up with Pantera and company start February 3rd in Florida, culminating February 22nd at Madison Square Garden, which will be the last one with Child Bite in that lineup. In any case, hope y'all dig the convo. Today's episode is sponsored by OneUpLoops.com. Drummer Carson Gain and his team spend an incredible amount of time recording over 450,000 shaker, tambourine, and hi-hat loops at every possible tempo in multiple feels with incredible mics and outboard gear for you to pick and choose. It's organized for you to find exactly what you need with just a few clicks, and everything feels and sounds incredible. You can sign up for free to check it out and gain full access to all 450,000 loops starting at just $6 a month. No download limits, whatever you want, whenever you want. New loops, one-shots, and drum breaks are being added weekly. Definitely a great addition to the arsenal of any drummer and or producer, and I can vouch for it myself, having used it. Check it out at OneUpLoops.com. Crash Bang Boom Podcast can be found where all podcasts are found, including Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and more. If you like what you hear, please check out any of the previous 280-plus episodes, and you can give me a like and or a subscription or even a positive review, as I would appreciate it. So without further ado, here we go. Jeff Porter, Child Bite. Crash, bang, boom.
Crowds go mad with joy.
Yeah. Jeff Porter of Child Bite, what's happening, man? How are you making out?
Hey, Jody, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. It sort of dates the episode a little bit, but Detroit Lions just getting their first playoff win in over 30 years. You're in your band in the Detroit area there. Congrats. I don't know if you're a big football fan or not, but I've been rooting for y'all, man.
I just kind of like watch it, like kind of subconsciously, is like I watch it with family usually every Sundays, and I tune in and out. I'm more of a baseball guy, but like I like hockey, baseball. But yeah, no, I'm happy for him. I didn't even watch the game yesterday. I was just too zoned out. Put out the social media post for the shows for the Pantera tour coming up, and just like I was like overstimulated with all the social media. I needed to like just stay home Sunday and not watch TV.
I hear you.
Stay in my room.
I hear you.
But no, I'm happy for him, man. It's awesome. It's usually we're so used to losing. Like it's just like it's weird if they don't lose.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I'm a Saints fan. We at least got to the Super Bowl. That was quite a few years ago, and then been up all kinds of ups and downs. So I get the losing thing, but that's a long stretch to not even get to a playoff game, much less win it in 30 years. So fuck yeah. Go Detroit. That's all I can say.
Thanks. Yeah, man.
Right on.
Any help we can get.
You mentioned earlier the Lamb of God Pantera tour. Congrats on that, by the way.
Yeah.
Man, you've done some gigs, I believe, with Pantera previously live. With Child Bite?
Yeah, we did, I think 5 shows on a 2-week run with them, East Coast, and one in the culminating show was Toronto. So, yeah, they were all just, beyond my comprehension of, this. We're basically like a club band, We played in our first show on August 2nd in Jersey City. And then the next day we played in a basement in New Brunswick, New Jersey, to 30 kids. I went from like setting up my drums on like a loading dock where all the semis load all the equipment out of, and then I went from that to like loading, like setting up my drums in like a open air garage that was just, they had like gym equipment, like weight bench and stuff. So I set up next to the weight bench, and then we moved stuff to the basement, and ended up playing the house kit anyway, one of the band's kits. So
oh my god,
it was a little space conscious, but it was really cool. It was nice and tight and good vibe. The basement show, man. On good energy.
What's the connection between Phil and the band? I know there's some connection there. I just don't know quite what it is.
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate as far as being connected with the Pantera organization, or with Phil mainly. Our singer Sean Knight goes back with his partner, who I believe is also a tour manager. They went to school together.
Oh,
so they've been friends since high school.
Wow.
So basically, I think if my timeline's correct, and she met Phil through like college radio, I believe, and that's how they got together. And just one of those things down the line. When Phil started Housecore Records and was looking for bands, and he didn't want bands that sounded like Pantera
Yeah.
per se. So it just happened to be timing and opportunity and being in the right place, knowing the right people.
Hell
You
yeah.
know, so yeah, lucky there. So that's basically how that went down. And Phil dug our stuff, and and they recorded a Negative Noise LP 2016 at Nod for Ratu's Lair.
Right.
So that was before my time. That was with Jeff Krause on drums. So but yeah, and a great album. Yeah, man. So yeah, just being fortunate, and happy. Probably it's how we got our bud Snafu. I'm assuming that probably got to be connected because they're also local through Detroit, and we're also doing Pantera tours and on Housecore, and so I think that's just through them, through that organization, we got to connect Snafu with Housecore, and now doing the same stuff we were doing on the Pantera, opening these tours.
Awesome.
So
hell yeah, man. How did you get the call for the gig? What's your connection? I know you've been playing with them. It sounded like originally maybe doing some fill-in, and with 2020 and then COVID shitstorm happens, and then out of COVID, it seems like you were back with them, I guess. But yeah, what was the experience there?
I've known the Child Bite guys technically since 2007. I just came back home to Detroit. I was in a band called Kylesa.
Yeah.
From Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, totally.
I moved down to Savannah in 2006 to join them, like New Year's or February 2006. And I was in that band for a little over a year and did an album, toured Europe and the States. And I just quit them, moved back here to Detroit, started going to shows again. And that's where I met them. They played a show at Woodward Avenue Brewery around probably 2007. And I got to just talking to them and stuff. And this is when their sound was like very kind of Perry Ubu. It's when Sean Knight had his crazy synth that looked like a Chuck E. Cheese, like a prop from Chuck E. Cheese, the crazy wood frame with like a frosted light board trim around it, and he had an Atari joystick, and his beard was really gnarly. They all had gnarly beards except the drummer.
Yeah.
And a different guitar player too, and it was a little more on, and they had a sax player too as well.
Jesus.
So it was like doing some skronky, like free jazz blowing, and so he was blowing parts, integrated in like a little bit more of an indie rockish, Perry Ubu, experimental type. Yeah, a lot of like maybe like John Zorn influenced, sort of a New York City, Lower East Side vibe of drums weren't as aggressive. Drums are a little more laid back. 2009, they got Ben Moore on drums, and they sort of gradually went towards a little bit more into the hardcore and heavier side of things. Ben's a very awesome drummer. He actually filled in for me in December of 2022 when I was sick and played the show. The last Battle Cross show, metal band that had their last show. So he filled in for me. So that was awesome.
Nice.
So, and they got heavier. And Sean Knight, who was kind of drifted away from the keyboard, from the synths, and into more of a lead vocalist sort of position. And so it kind of just got a little more sparser, but things got heavier and a little more aggressive.
Right.
And so basically I see them. I joined the band in 2011 and called Golden Torso, the local Detroit band. We lasted from about 2011 till 2018, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So we played shows at Child Bite around Detroit, and we did some split LPs, covering doing like hardcore covers. And Sean Knight, who's an amazing, graphic artist, put together like a woodcut, like 7-inch for this, hardcore cover series. It's really amazing.
Awesome.
So we'd be, travel around each other, and they, Sean's former partner Veronica also was booking at that time too, and she helped us Golden Torso out, booked a tour with Poison Idea.
Okay.
2015, did like 3 days with them. It was regionally like Chicago, Cleveland, and Detroit, and that was a lot of fun. And so yeah, just very that sort of relationship, between local bands around and the same sort of style of the music.
Right. But then, I mean, I guess once 2020 happens, you filled in, and then you became an official member in 2023, would you say?
Yeah, it was Jeff Krause, who was the last drummer to exit the band. The last permanent Child Bite drummer to exit the band in 2019.
Okay.
I was working at this, I mentioned that Woodward Avenue Brewery place. They have a venue next door called the Loving Touch.
Okay.
Which is a great venue. It's like the most intimate venue to see like big bands, and at least in Detroit. I mean, you're like right up there. And
cool.
So I worked there for 8 years doing door and security. So I actually worked that last Child Bite show with Jeff Krause on drums in 2019. And since then, they were, they were just without a drummer. They were just going at it with fill-ins, and just they're very connected with music scene, and just getting a series of fill-in people to help out. And they basically, I think, started going kind of connected with Shane Hochstetler from Zebras, Milwaukee, musician, drummer, studio owner, and he played on the Blow Off the Omens album.
Okay.
And they also, but for that Blow Off the Omens album, they also wrote with a series of drummers too.
Oh wow! So I dig that album.
Yeah. So yeah, just a very interesting way of going about things,
Yeah.
So yeah, so kind of that sort of, and they toured with Shane until the pandemic. Basically once the pandemic started hitting, this kind of things sort of frayed out. Then once wait 2021, and little by little people restrictions lifting, and they started kind of going out again, started to play again a little bit more, and getting calls for tours. They called me once or twice, and I got to be able to do I did that February tour, but in 2021 I couldn't really do anything with them, not for a long period of time, since I got a new job or where I currently work.
Yep.
I couldn't get the time off. So actually it worked out because that tour got canceled for COVID anyway in 2021.
Right.
That run. So unfortunately, but
damn.
Not saying it worked out. It just happened, well, it wouldn't have mattered. But
yeah.
Over the pandemic, they wrote and ended up recording that Multi-Cult Split.
Yeah, super cool one.
Yeah, and then they wrote that, Hunkering Down. The three of them, Jeremy, Sean, and Sean Clancy, Sean Knight, Sean Clancy, two Sean's in the band.
Yep.
They, wrote that, and we're kind of going back and forth, basically just emailing songs to Ryan, and he's got his own studio, so you can record the drum tracks, and that's how that came about. So, he's on that, and once Blow Off the Omens came out in November 2019, and they're just getting going, trying to push it, getting on the road, and then the pandemic happened. So it's like, that's kind of, how things got stilted, unfortunately, for that album. And, I think it's their best work they've ever done. I'm so stoked to play that music. I'm so stoked to play the Multi-Cult Split.
Right.
I've been supporting them for a while, like I said, since 2007, basically, going to shows, buying their music. And after like just feeling the good vibes and like good shows, I'm like, dudes, like, I like where I work. I love my job. It kind of consumes me, but maybe I'm not as fulfilled as I think I am. And I think I miss playing drums, and I would love to, go forth with y'all, man. So, luckily, and they were ingredients like, yeah, dude, we love to have you, man. So
awesome.
This is kind of how it worked out. It was a really lovely sort of exchange,
Absolutely, man. All right, so tell me, I know Child Bite, a pretty wild band, hard to describe. I'll talk to you a little bit about that, about sort of my perception of the, varying influences that sort of make them. But tell me about any particularly bizarre or fun or who knows, weird gigs that you've played with them?
Yeah, I mean, it's quick. It's a quick one. It's a drumming related. I'm a little, I guess, obsessive compulsive. We also drummers have our, peccadillos. We have our very idiosyncratic people.
Yes.
I would say.
Yes.
I think, and I was having trouble. It was this show 2022, my first local show as a official member of the band. We had our buds USA Nails from London.
Yeah.
And it was the first day of our tour. We did our 2-week run again down to Texas to the No Coast Noise Festival, like we did in 2020, Noise Rock Festival. Playing our set, and probably, I don't know, second or third song, my bass drum beater just flew out.
Oh boy, good times.
Yeah. And I finished the song. It's very noticeable to finish the song without a kick drum.
Right.
So in between songs, I'm looking, all over the place.
Can't find it.
My bass drum beater, and it's just, just like a drum key under a cymbal stand, or the shadow of your drum kit. The beater just disappeared. Unsolved mysteries. So I honestly, I took probably like 5 minutes of just like,
where the fuck is it?
Yeah, I'm just like in the zone, in like a, sort of like,
oh man,
yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I gotta find it. I'm not like very plussed about it. I'm like, I'm not trying to swear up and down and like freak anyone else out or my band, freak myself out. I'm just like, well, I don't know where it is. I'm looking for it. Let's look behind the, let's look behind the wedge, the monitor wedge. And I couldn't find it. And luckily the USA Nails guys, he brought he didn't bring a full drum kit. He brought, I think he had hardware with him.
Right.
Or he had there was a pedal he had with him. And he finally just like, hey, bud, yeah, here you go. Just use this for the set. And so
whoa,
yeah, very, very, very. Thank you, Tom from USA Nails, for that, because I was just I actually did it again. The next show we played in April of 2023.
I see a pattern here. I think it's time for you to bring an extra 1 or 2 beaters with you. Stick it in the stick bag. I think you got to have more than one, buddy.
Dude, like, it's hilarious because I actually, it's a DW 9000 I use, as my usual pedal. And then, my backup is a 5000 DW. And, it was all it was. And I should have taken it to the music store. I'm thinking, I know I'm all knowing and, confident. Like, oh, it's fine. It's just, needs to be tightened right. And it was stripped. The screw was stripped.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
So like, all right, he's got a new screw, man. That's it. That's all I had to do. And I waited that long. I waited a whole nother year almost of like, next local show, I did the same thing, and they got pissed at me. They got like, and I understandably pissed. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, come on, we can't be doing it like this, man. Like, we gotta have a set that flows. That's the magic of it. So I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm again, I've not always had it together.
Holy shit, man!
I made a stupid mistake of being overconfident. So
oh my god,
yeah, that's
man.
just it's what it eats away at me. So I figured I'd let you know.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that one, man. You were mentioning sort of the style of the band. I was sort of imagining in my, and I don't know what your parental situation is, but I think if I joined a band called Child Bite and I told my parents that, I would imagine they would be like, Child Bite, Jesus, what a fucking name that is. And then I'd have to explain to them what they sound like, which to my ear sounds like a cross between like the Jesus Lizard and like Dead Kennedys or something. With
absolutely, yeah, those are two big heavy hitters.
Yeah, your vocalist kind of reminds me a little bit of Dave Brockie from Gwar, just like vocally, just sort of the sound. But like I imagine like also trying to explain that to my parents, and I think that both, at least my dad would say, well, you've been listening to weird shit since you were 5 years old, so it only makes sense that you'd be fucking doing this. What was your parental reactions between the two of them, assuming they're both around, hopefully? What did they say when you told them?
Oh, they're both here. Yeah, they're both long suffering, and I have to give them all the credit and all the support for supporting me over 20 years or what more. I started, I guess, seriously drumming when I was 13. Um, so yeah, I mean, they supported me throughout the whole year, all that time. I mean, just amazing. And yeah, I'm so fortunate and lucky for sure.
Yeah.
I could say, well, the singer kind of sounds like for example, when he sings,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
it's like my dad likes, oh, he was always listening to music. My mom actually got me into Black Sabbath. She had Black Sabbath Paranoid on record. So, I mean,
Wow.
it's like, whoa. And playing that, and that was just, that was a big watershed moment, and
Hell yeah.
still go to concerts together and stuff, like big concerts at arenas and stuff. Yeah. I think the last one we saw was The Who.
Really, mom, dad, and yourself.
Yeah, we'll go to like concerts. I'm nothing like punk shows, but like,
Right. That's cool.
no, I mean, my mom, like, I played the Loving Touch, my old work there, and with Golden Torso a while back with a band called Chemists from Denver. And I remember I forgot my rack tom, and I called my mom up. It's like, can you run this out for me right before we like open the show?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, sure, okay, all right, yeah, I got it.
Thanks, mom.
Yeah, thanks, mom. I know, man. I'm forever indebted to them. So very lucky.
That's awesome. What do you like to listen to is sort of in your spare time outside of playing the music that you play? I mean, you mentioned Kylesa and then now doing Child Bite. Are you a jazz guy? Are you a classic rock guy? Are you a soft rock guy?
I'm like everything, man. I am a sponge, and I like to dig deep, and I think I have a pretty good memory for a lot of music history and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, anything. I'll go for try to find the obscure. I love the classics. Yeah, I try to be as absorb as much music as possible. I definitely that's my MO. That's like I want to check out free jazz. I want to check out I love soul and R&B. I love metal. Grindcore. I can look up this. There's so much I can glean out of like so much things I hear. I've learned everything by ear basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically self-taught, learn some other instruments or whatever, work on other instruments like piano, bass, guitar, and stuff. But I think I have perfect, if not relative, pitch too, so I can tell you
Nice.
what keys things are in. So
Wow.
it's a whole world out there, man.
Hell yeah, it is, man. You mentioned starting drumming at the age of 13. Why the drums in the first place? Were either of your parents sort of gear you in that direction, or did you find it sort of on your own accord?
Yeah, like there's pictures of me when I'm like one playing my cousin David's snare drum. That was kind of my introduction to drums. So I mean, like,
Nice.
I kind of started the obsession very early. We would go visit my cousin in Ohio, and he would have a Ludwig classic 5-piece, 70s, I think it was 70s black kit, 22, 12, 13, 16, 2 Zildjian cymbals, hi-hat. And he was playing in high school band at the time. And then I was not allowed to play at the time of day I was able to play, or I was able to mess around on his kit every time we'd visit. So yeah, again, I would just be obsessed with that drum kit. And over time, and I was like 8, and I begged my parents for a kit for Christmas, and they ended up giving me like a red JC Penney kit or something.
Sounds about right.
It lasted like 2 days.
Yep, that's the way it goes. Yeah.
Yep.
That's wild, man. So I guess you grew up. You're like in the Detroit area. Were you like into sports? How'd you do in school? I only asked the school question because I've noted in sort of how you were describing your personality type and how that sort of corresponds with myself, and having done almost 300 of these drumming interviews, I've definitely seen some correlations between drummer personality types. Were you interested in school? Were you good in school? Did you enjoy it? Like, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I was like average,
Yeah.
decent student. I mean, yeah, I mean, B's.
That's still pretty good.
A's, mostly B's, C's. And
Yeah.
certain subject I was really, I excelled more. I really liked English.
Yeah.
I remember being really good at cursive early on, like the art of cursive, right?
Totally,
or
right?
whatever.
I still write that way.
Yeah, man, just stuff like that. I definitely was in the sports early on, like baseball, and then kind of hockey. Played a lot of street hockey,
Yeah.
basically when I was 13, 14, 15. 13 was starting drum lessons in middle school, 7th grade, I believe, 8th grade, 9th grade. I was still playing baseball 13 to 15. And then I was like, wow, I could play baseball in high school, I guess. But also, I feel like I'm not as good as I was, or maybe I needed more help, like in training and
Hmm.
baseball clinic tutoring or whatever, to
Yeah.
like be good and be good enough to want like play at a high school level. So I'm like, all right, I'll just choose drums. Just start growing my hair, play drums. Like,
Yeah.
I just I made the choice.
Nice.
So started playing in high school bands, right? Like
Right.
the whole ball started rolling.
Yeah. When you think back to those early gigs or even your first bands, who were some of the drummers that were influencing you at the time?
13-year-old me, I loved Primus.
Oh, yeah.
My all-time favorite band from about age 13 to age 20.
Yeah, man.
All the drummers of Primus,
Yeah.
Herb, Brain,
Jay
Jay
Lane.
Lane, awesome. Like I love that
Yeah.
Sausage album. I actually have a Sausage t-shirt.
Fuck yeah. Do you really?
Yeah.
Nice, dude. I'm pretty sure I even had one in the 90s. I don't have it anymore. I had to get rid of the deodorant that I would wear at the time was like this thick ass deodorant. I was just a sweaty fuck. And it was also down in like Southeast Louisiana. So it was hot as shit. So like all that thick deodorant fucked up all the armpits. Now I'm realizing like I should have kept that and just cut the arms off it. And then I'd still have like all these killer 90s t-shirts that I just gave to Goodwill with like these fucking disgusting armpits.
Oh yeah, I'm with you on the armpit stains, man. I got a slew of shirts that need the same treatment, need to really deep clean, get the stain remover on them, and salvage the armpits. So I can, obviously living up here is a whole nother ball game, temperature and weather wise. But yeah,
Totally.
I definitely had the same problem. But yeah, no, I never got to see Sausage. I saw Primus at least two times. But yeah, the cool band like Todd Huth, Jay Lane. I love the drum sound on that album too.
I saw Sausage live.
Did you?
Yeah, Jay Lane was playing like a blue acrylic like a Ludwig kit, I want to say, snare and
Yeah.
everything. And they were killer. I think they played a show with like Rollins Band and somebody, maybe even Helmet. It might have been Sausage, Rollins Band, and Helmet. In like the mid 90s or whatever. And definitely saw Primus multiple times. And they were always just absolutely killing. Such a killer band.
Yep, dude. That's so funny you mentioned that Rollins Sausage Helmet tour. That was a big watershed moment for my singer Sean Knight of Child Bite. He went to that show in Pontiac, Michigan on that
No
tour,
shit.
and yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well, man, before we go, here we are, 2024. Child Bite's got some more shows with Lamb of God and Pantera. Tell me a little bit about the run that y'all got coming up super soon.
Yeah, it's a good chunk of coverage. 2 weeks. We start locally in Ferndale on February 9th, and we start heading south and east, I believe. South, Cleveland, Louisville, Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
I want to say Manitoba, Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Fargo is in there.
Okay.
St. Paul, Green Bay.
Nice.
And Grand Rapids, and then the final show is New York City, Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
It's a good chunk of driving.
Damn, dude.
Wintertime beauty.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a winter wonderland for a lot of that. Have you enjoyed being able to watch Lamb of God and Pantera, and like any takeaways from being able to watch Art Cruz and Charlie Benante and just those bands playing every night? I mean, it's
so funny. Another quick aside, when I was like our first Pantera show we did in August 2nd in Jersey City, I was like getting ready to go on, and I had my kits. We already did sound check, so I was in warm up mode, and I had my like backup snare, and I had my little blue gel moon gel pad on the snare, and some of my dead cases, and I'm getting my stuff together, and then like. Charlie and Art, they were holding court over by my dead cases with the road crew and whatnot. And then they head over to my drum throne and sit on my snare drum, and they're just like tapping on my snare drum. I've never met them. I don't know. I was gonna say so like, yo, you need to borrow some drums. I mean, just let me know. You need to borrow.
yeah.
But you know what I mean. So yeah, dude, those I feel so icky bicky, like got these professionals. They're just like they know how to do it, they know how to tour, they know how, they live it, and it's just like it's awesome. Like they got great techs that help me out even if my stuff breaking down, and help
That's
me
awesome.
muffle my kick drum to get a nice kick drum sound through the PA, through the speakers,
Yeah.
so I'm like a lot of learning, just like this is how these people live, this is how this side of things is.
Right. Damn, man.
So it's really cool, man. Like it's so great. Like I'm usually I'm like side stage for Pantera on those shows. Child Bite, we are just a 4-man unit, man. We don't have any other crew with us, so we have to, we are, the roadies help us so much. The local crews will help us so much.
Yeah.
And then they're not allowed to, like, enter our vehicles, or like they can help us put stuff to the curb where our vehicle is, and then we gotta load the trailer ourselves, obviously. So it's like when they all the crews have been really cool. Pantera's organization's cool.
Yeah.
Lamb of God's or other people are cool, really cool, and just it's a good vibe, and it's really, I'm just really fortunate to be able to do something like this on this crazy level. So
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, Jeff, it was great talking to you, man. I appreciate the time. Best of luck on these upcoming shows. I'll be sure to get this episode out prior to them so people can hear sort of about your experience with the band and touring and playing with these two bands, and then now looking down, going and doing it again, and the whole thing, man. It was fun talking to you, dude. I appreciate it.
You too, Jody, man. Appreciate it. Good times.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Definitely thanks to Jeff for catching up. Really cool talking about sort of the history of Child Bite, and it's wild they're out there playing with Pantera and Lamb of God, and I loved the drum kick beater story. It was fucking ridiculous. So good, though. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Crash, bang, boom.